Hi, my name is Ben, and I think that your video is great. This is a response to Excelsior's video where he raises some concerns and, kind of honest questions about the video called The Philosophy of Liberty, and I kind of wanted to respond today. So the first kind of concern that you had was about how to defend yourself without force. And the philosophy of liberty isn't saying that you should take a philosophy of pacifism. It's saying that you should not initiate force, because initiating force is going to be stealing or theft or murder. But one of the kind of misconceptions that we kind of perpetuate during this society is that killing is bad, it's unnatural, while killing is actually a part of natural processes. If you're going to be a living human being, you're going to kill things. You're going to kill plants, you're going to kill animals, and when you defend yourself against other people, you are going to act violently and possibly kill other people in that defense. So in other words, this is not kind of endorsing pacifism, this is saying that you just don't have any right to initiate the force. And if you wanted a black and white kind of thing, I don't know what to tell you, because nature doesn't have any kind of designation between good and evil. So the only way that you're going to be able to perpetuate a society in which defense is, commendable, where it's okay for you to defend your rights, your liberty, and your property, is to retain the ability for violence and retain the ability to kill other people. And there's been very many examples where we as governments, we as peoples, we as cultures have killed other people with regards to trying to retain liberty. So it's not really a black and white issue, and I don't really know how to assure you that it's not. Another good point that you bring up is what particular government would be able to actually initiate the philosophy of liberty, because even though democracy is a very effective form of fighting tyranny and corruption, eventually you still have to basically have a structure where you have police enforcing kind of the rule of the majority on the minority, right? And so, but there is actually a form of government that where this would be able to be implemented, and it's an anarchy. People think of anarchy as a chaos, everybody not really working together, a very violent society. And while I think actually people would work together, it initially probably would be a violent and chaotic society. And the reason for this being is that under democracies in the Western philosophy, we have basically negated our reasons and our need for ethical conscientiousness. We don't necessarily require us to have any kind of acting of goodwill and self-interest and with respect to others, because we basically allow the government to police us, so that if somebody were to do something bad, the government would then initiate the defensive force. But really more disturbing, I think, on that level is that in a democracy, we also, if we were to act bad, we trust the government to, initiate defensive force. And so what this means is that you can easily ask somebody in a Western culture of saying, why is it a bad idea to break the speed limit or to kill somebody? And, their response might be, well, it's illegal. Well, that basically kind of is indicative of the fact that they haven't had a reason or a need to develop an ethic or philosophical reason while speeding might not be a good idea in, low light or, dangerous conditions, and why it's bad to kill people just out of greed or ambition or, whatever the case may be. So, if we were to go into an anarchy, we would end up going under our lumps, because it would take time to people to develop an ethical conscientiousness and a moral code, because right now we don't really have a lot of a need for it. I myself am not yet an anarchist, I'm leaning towards anarchy because I believe in the philosophy of liberty, or its fundamentals, and for me to act outside of anarchy, I would be one of those good people enabling evil people to act on my behalf. So the only really way that I can free myself of that ethical conflict would actually be to jump over into an anarchy philosophy. So I'm not right there. I'm not yet there because I would not trust a 5-year-old with a knife until I knew that he could use that knife as a tool responsibly and rationally. And so the question is not necessarily should we do it, but do we deserve the freedoms that we have? And the act is that we don't actually deserve the freedoms that we have currently because we're not actually acting in the kind of an ethical moral basis. We're basically just allowing the government to act for us. So in this society, there's a level of chaos and violence that doesn't happen because we're allowed to delude ourselves that it's all kind of taken care of. In an anarchy, you would be frontally addressed with the fact that you should act appropriately, reasonably, and responsibly with respect to other people's lives, liberty, and property, because it has your own self-interests. It basically perpetuates a society of non-violence and those kind of things. It really reflects the true nature of society when you say, okay, well, what if you didn't have somebody who's going to enforce the laws, and there'd be riot in the streets and everything like that. That's basically the level of real ethical conscientiousness through a society, is that if you took away all that law enforcement, there'd be rioting. That's the state of, morality as it is today. That is the state of ethics today, and that's scary. It's scary that people would go to the street and kill and riot and murder without some kind of clandestine operation to enforce regulation on them. It's crazy. And so I definitely do want to see the philosophy of liberty perpetuated.